Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so here we are, and we are standing in front of our buckets, which we got all prepped up and everything. So, now what I have done is, we had a glitch, technical issue, didn't record, so I already got everything planted. That was not my intent to do it that way, but we're going to roll with it, we're going to go through everything, I'm just going to redo it all over again, but we've already planted everything. So, what we started with, we started up down on this end with our tomato and basil. And at the Dollar Tree, we got these nice little signs here. So you can see, I've labeled it Tom and Basil. And so I have each and every bucket labeled properly with the product, with the crop that's in each one. So now we started with our tomato and our basil. Now, the basil,
so it's 5 to 7 days for the basil, 5 to 10 days, something like that. Right now I'm trying to get rid of the sound of the music. Some asshole was writing down the same music playing. We're right in the middle of the video, and so yeah, there we are.
And so that should be the first thing we see sprouting up. They're half an inch down. Put them a half an inch down, and I put 2 in each pot. So I put 2 on opposing sides of the pot, and then in 8 to 10 days germination time we have our tomatoes. 1/4 inch down. It says 1 inch spacing and 24 inches apart, but that doesn't really matter. And so basically I put 2 tomato seeds in each bucket, 1 in the front, 1 in the back. And so hopefully we get 1 of each of these to take. That gives us 4 chances at getting tomato basil. I think we're going to be okay, because I think last year I was able to get these to sprout, even like individually. So I didn't get any basil to grow, but this is different. This is different because they were in little seed pods and I didn't transplant them. That was I made a mistake. That's on me. So we got that going down. And then next up, we got our cilantro and our jalapeno. And the cilantro is 7 to 10 days to germination, and the jalapeno is 10 to 12. And again, last year I was able to get these things to germinate, but again, I didn't get them in a bucket. So. And the same thing as I did with the tomato and the basil. I got a cilantro in the back and a cilantro in the front. I got a jalapeno on one side, I got a jalapeno on the other side. So that way they have spacing, they got their 6 to 8 inch spacing between each one, and that way we can hopefully get a lot of great plants growing in these buckets. Alright, moving on to our 5th bucket, which is right here. I put an eggplant seed in there. I put 2 eggplant seeds in there, 1 in the front, 1 in the back. So hopefully we get 1 to sprout. I'll be happy. And then in the side, or no, I put those on the sides. Then in the front and the back, I put some peppermint seeds. But those seeds are so small. There's a lot of them in there, and hopefully they take. These are more of a colder climate plant, but it does say April to June is the time to get them down. So. March to June. So, hey, it's on there. Hopefully they grow. All right. And then in our last 4 buckets, I did the same thing. Mainly for aesthetic purposes. The sunflower grows the tallest, so I put it in the back of the buckets. It takes 14 to 21 days to germinate. You put it in 1 inch down and a half an inch apart, but we only got 2 in there, so they're more than that apart. And this one is March to June to get them in the ground. So we got those in the back. And then in the front of each one, we have our corn. And again, the reason for it to be in the front is because it's a little bit shorter than the sunflower stalk, but so that way, the sunflowers, we'll still be able to see the sunflowers in the back. It takes 7 to 10 days to germinate, and you plant them 1 inch down. And it says 3 apart. There's only 1 in each bucket, so it shouldn't even make a difference. Alright, and then in the middle, I put 2 bean seeds in each one. And I put 1 in the back next to the sunflower, and 1 in the front next to the corn. That way they can use the stalk to grow. And these ones are April to July, or May to June. April to July, essentially, because we are in zone 8. Days to germination 6 to 8, so we should start seeing buckets within a week. So hopefully when we come back next week, we'll have some good news to show you. If not, you're gonna see the bad news, because I'm still gonna show you what's going on after a week. And then of course they're each gonna have their own stock to climb up as the corn and the sunflower starts to grow up. And then on each side, on the left and the right, I do have a squash seed on each. These ones, 10 to 14 days of germination and half an inch down. Now, the good thing about the squash is that I've seen the squash growing at restaurants out of town, just in their yard. So, oh, and I actually had an extra sunflower, an extra squash seed in my hand, so I put it in underneath the pomegranate tree. Just, why not? So, I mean, it doesn't hurt. See if it'll actually grow in the native soil without having it in the pots. But now, of course, the idea about, oh, and then I don't have anything in these front ones yet. That's gonna be the marigolds. That way I can put, I can space the flowers out, so that way they're gonna help keep the bugs away from everything. So hopefully this idea works. And again, this is kind of in that whole landscape type design thing, trying to figure out what goes what. Now, one thing I am gonna do is, because eggplant, the jalapenos, and the tomatoes, they're all in the nightshade family. And so that means that they all share the same diseases and ailments. And so once these things start sprouting, and again, like next week, I'm going to be able to go and get that artificial turf to put down here. I don't know if I'm going to get it at Lowe's or Sam's Club, because Sam's has one that you can just put out like on concrete anyway. And Lowe's is actually more of like one you put on the dirt. So I may get the one at Sam's. It's like $150. But what it's going to do is it's going to provide a nice, healthy base for our squash. That way, it'll have that green, that softer turf type, even though it's artificial, and it'll be a barrier from the concrete, because during the summertime, this concrete gets really hot. And so I'm hoping that if I put down that artificial turf underneath our pots, when the squash does grow, and I'm confident it's going to grow. I mean, I'm confident it's going to grow. And the reason that I'm not worried about it over next to our pomegranate tree is because there's a tree over there that provides some shade, so it's not going to be as hot over there. But ideally, what this is going to do is it's going to allow for us to have a nice looking, even though it's these obnoxious white buckets, but even though we're in these white buckets and these black potters, hopefully what it should do is, with that grass on there, when the squash goes over the top of the buckets, it should allow for a very nice looking type growth atmosphere. So, but again, we're gonna do like four sister, and then so probably what we're doing, we're gonna have a four sister down there, and then we're gonna put in a tomato jalapeno. We'll put in a four sister, a tomato jalapeno, a four sister, the eggplant, mint, the four sister, or tomato basil rather, and then the four sister, and then the tomato cilantro, four sister tomato cilantro. And so that way we have that type of nice overlap and in between. So that means that we'll have like the way I'm envisioning it. We're gonna have our beautiful sunflowers up on the top. We're gonna have our marigolds in the front, and then we're just gonna have like this lush type squash vegetation covering pretty much all the buckets. So I have no problem with them going over like covering the other buckets as well, because that's actually going to provide a little bit of cover for that dirt once we get down there. So, all right, that's what we did today. We'll get those marigolds in. I'm not going to go over that because it's just planting flowers in a pot. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. So, well, other than that, that's what we got going on today. And again, we'll check back next week. So next Wednesday, we're going to come out here. We're going to take a quick overview. Maybe like a 5-minute video or something, 5-6 minute. But we're going to look through. We're going to see what has sprouted, what has not sprouted. I'm going to take these seeds inside. I'm going to make a log as to the day we planted them, and that way when we come back, I'll be able to log when we got our first germinate, our first sprout, and how long it takes for each thing to sprout. And if they don't sprout, I'm gonna not, don't sprout, and that way we can make a better assessment as to when to get stuff into the dirt next year, and what's successful to plant and what is not successful. Because, like, let's say the eggplant just doesn't grow, or the mint just doesn't grow. Well, if the mint doesn't grow, then we're going to find another companion plant like thyme. And next year we'll say the eggplant does fine. We get a lot of healthy eggplant. Well, next year we'll do eggplant and thyme, and then that way we'll see if the thyme grows, so that we can get something useful in that same space. Because the companion planting is designed to make a more efficient use of limited space, and so that's what we're gonna be trying to do. But hey, if this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing. I get a lot of views, but only like 5% of them are from my subscribers. So hey, if you like this video, and do me a favor, even if you don't like the video, just please give me a thumbs up. You know, it helps the algorithm. It does push it out. You know, and if you've taken the time to watch the video, even if you don't truly like the video, you might not like me or anything, but you know, if I've done something to really offend you, then of course hit that thumbs down. But you know, if it's just like, you know, it's an okay video, not my type, but just, you know, if you hit that thumbs up, and then you don't have to, you know, push it out to other people. So, because it'll really help it out and get this information out to more people that might want it. So there might be people living in the desert that want to know, you know, they've want to start, you know, can I start a patio garden? Well, that's what we're doing right here. We're starting a now I have a big patio, but we're starting a patio garden, and you have to work within your area that you have. So, great. Until next time, keep prepping.